Greetings all, Frog here. Let's not quite play Stellaris, but it is the Stellaris time. I'm taking a bit of a cop-out because it has been an incredibly busy week for me. I'm readjusting my entire sleep schedule and it's been a disaster. I've already missed one video on Tuesday, and so to try and avoid missing more videos on Wednesday, I'm going to cheat a little bit. And that's also because developers are screwing over my life by releasing both Stellaris, which we're going to talk about now, and the update to Factorio on the same day. So, like, so many things have gone awry that rather than try to see what's working on a night when I don't have time, which is tonight, tomorrow night I have so much more time to be able to record videos. We're just going to talk about the patch notes, see what they've changed, see how it is. Yes, this is what you think it is. If you don't know, by the way, that this is a delicious chewy candy by the Morinaga company, you haven't been paying attention enough. And by the way, I'm still available if you want to use me. But we're going to talk about the Stellaris patch notes because what is this new? I don't know where that button comes from. Oh, it's on the website. All right, whatever. We're going to talk about the patch. We're going to talk about my excitement level and all that stuff. And because I have a time limit, because I have to start streaming in 20 minutes, this will be on time. It'll be amazing. So I don't know yet if this is save compatible like version 1.1 was. What I suspect is it would be save compatible for the visual stuff, but to get any of the new AI changes and stuff, you'd have to start a new campaign. So we may end up having to start a new campaign anyway. I don't know. I'll find out tomorrow. Maybe today after the stream, but certainly by tomorrow. So, this is the big stuff. They have this big stuff preview. I like it. I really shouldn't chew a high chew when the only thing I have to do in a video is talk. It's okay. So, the three big things: improved diplomacy, improved visuals, and then miscellaneous, I guess is what they're saying. And we're going to go through the notes in detail as well. So there are no more embassies, which is why I think this is going to break saves. And now it has a trust system. So, let me just swallow that. Okay, it's all good. There's a free clip for all of you people out there. I can tell you 100% from my personal belief, this is because of Wiz. Wiz brought the trust system over from EU4, and I know it wasn't in the original because that wasn't the idea, because it was a completely different development team, and then Wiz said, I don't know about embassies, although he uses diplomats, so I don't know. But anyway, that's been changed. Borders are now open. Thank you. Although, in a way, diplomacy is not as important, but borders are now open, so it's very CK2-esque. Diplomatic incidents added to enrich mid-game content, which they needed to do. There's new war goals, again, which was important, and new defensive pact option, which we'll read about in the changelog. They do have an improved visuals. That was the developer's diary from yesterday. It's very impressive, actually. I haven't seen it in the game yet, but it is impressive, at least on the new screenshots that they have. Plus, they have new map modes, and they have better-looking space battles, which I think will be cool. You can see here, already a preview of it. They hang back a little bit more, so it's not all just one big CF in the middle. So that's good. Then they changed ethics and governments and blah 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 blah. We'll get to the workings. So here we go. There's a special thanks to Manye Maniskerjan for helping out with the map mode. So good. I don't know if it's Manye. That's how I want to pronounce it. Probably it's just Magna. What is that? Well, that's unfortunate. One moment as I check to see if I just unwittingly sat in cat vomit. I did not, but there is some on the floor. Special. I'll get that later. Things you don't need to know about Frog. Okay, so features important. Hashtag important. Add a defensive pact diplomatic action allows you to form a defensive alliance with another empire, which I think is interesting because now you could go into, right now I believe the way alliances are set up, if I go to war, the alliance goes with me. So it's kind of interesting. There's a non-aggression pact, migration treaty, support independence, and guarantee independence are diplomatic actions instead of trade deals, which makes sense. Removed embassies replaced with trust, so it builds over time with diplomatic treaties and increases opinion by up to 100. So it's kind of like a hybrid system. It's the same thing as the trust from EU4, but still you have to have these treaties. Trust just builds over time regardless in EU4, although it's better with the non-aggression pacts and all that stuff. Federations now vote on wars and new members, which seems smart. Federation members now give 20% of their Navy capacity to the Federation, which creates a Federation naval capacity. Interesting. They no longer cost maintenance, but cannot exceed the Navy capacity inside. That's abusable. I like it. You can now kick Alliance and Federation members with a majority vote action. Sending a favorable trade deal will now increase the opinion of the other empire by up to 100%. Well, or 100 points. That's good, actually, because it's probably something you can help with fallen empires. Because we've tried to buddy up to those guys so hard. You can set a war philosophy policy. It determines what type of war goals you can use. Removed war economic policy. That's all right. I'm going to have to do this in post. The music seems really loud compared to how it normally is. Colonizing planets and building frontier outposts now cost influence based on the distance to your closest owned system. Interesting. I wonder if that's going to be more or less, because from my playthrough, it felt like it needed to be less. But if it's more, we could be in trouble. Borders are now open to everybody, right? But you can close it through diplomatic action. They will close borders to rival by default, and fallen empires never open borders. That makes sense. All the more reason not to do the exploration as your scientist until you've explored a lot of space. Happiness is a linear modifier with levels above 50% giving bonuses and level below 50 giving penalties. It wasn't linear before? A linear modifier. So maybe it was linear, it didn't modify anything. I don't know, it could be. All ship weapons have their range doubled. Right, that's so that way they can be farther apart, and space battles still look cool. Added diplomatic opinion and AI attitude map modes, which will be fun, so they can add more. We'll check those out when we get there. It affects the checksum to have map mode mods? Yeah, that's alright. Core planets is now core systems. Excellent! That's really cool, so we can have multiple planets in the same system. Negative 10 happily penalty when the Empire is in an offensive war. Alright. These aren't important, these are just general changes. Ship designs with excess power gain a small bonus to damage, speed, and evasion. That's cool. I like that, because there are definitely some designs that we had that had extra power, and I'm like, well, what do you do with it? Well, now you get damage, speed, and evasion bonuses. Grand Admiral Achievement now requires a combined fleet power of 100 instead of having dealt 100 damage in ship combat. 100,000. You silly Europeans, you. So 100,000 instead of having dealt 100. Okay, so we can get there someday. Alliances and federations can now vote to kick a member. Yes, that was up in the important part. 50% plus 1 need to vote yes. Okay, so it's a simple majority. Ship combat computer behavior has been changed. Aggressive behavior is now called swarm, and defensive is now called bombardment. Added visitor center building and associated technology available to xenophile emperors. Interesting. We've been playing a xenophile. We'll have to check it out. Symbol of unity building with spiritualists. We've also been playing a spiritualist empire. We'll have to see. Fleet merging has been improved and should prioritize certain fleets better. Spaceports can now be dismantled. Oh, that's good. So maybe you get, like, stuff back? I don't know. Natural beauty planet modifier effect on habitability removed. Instead, the modifier now affects planet migration attraction. Oh, interesting. All right. Like the problems we've been dealing with in the Alliance Directive. Taking a tributary now makes you guarantee their independence for 10 years without cost. Okay. Migration time was changed to migration speed, and it's the same difference. Base ethics divergence has been changed, and capital buildings have been adjusted accordingly. It's no longer possible to avoid ethics divergence by not working the reassembled ship shelter. That was actually kind of interesting. I never did it, but I had read about that. Added regulated slavery policy options, xeno-slavery policy option. Only collectivists can now enslave their own species. That's probably good. Civilian ship designs are updated with shields and armor technologies. Automatically? Is that what that means? Because that would be kind of cool. Frontier outposts are destroyed if the last owned planet and a system changes owner through war. Strike craft attack and movement pattern was changed to be more swarm-like. Strike craft ship count increased from 4 to 8, and damage has been rescaled. Okay, so that to me looks like a visual change. Galactic Ambitions technology no longer provides survey data for empires you've contacted. Right. There's a fleeting trait, so reduces leader lifespan, that makes sense, and deviates to increase ethics divergence. Sure, that's opposites of things that have already existed. There's a make tributary. You can now take tributaries in war. They are a subject that pays 20% of energy credits and mineral income to their overlord, but do not join in the war. So they're tributaries from EU, or not EU, for CK2, so we're used to that. Abandoned planet. If your policies allow purging, you can force an enemy to abandon a planet, killing all pops of the planet in the process. You can humiliate enemy empires. Of course, we're very familiar with that. Open borders. You can force them to open borders and stop atrocity to ban slavery and purging. That's kind of cool. Space nomads have been completely reworked and expanded for the mid-game. This non-player faction travels from one end of the galaxy to the other, encountering empires and triggering events. So that's kind of interesting. Certain actions and circumstances can now cause diplomatic incident events between empire in the mid-game. Okay. New slave factions. So the old slavery thing is done. They've created docile slaves, which are content slaves. They have mild support effects, and they demand regulated slavery policy. There's malcontent slaves as well, which are the unhappy slaves. They have fairly harsh support effects and demand freedom for all slaves. Emancipation faction for non-slave pops, and it strengthens malcontent slaves. Sure, pop ethos influences, while faction pops join when enslaved. Okay, I see. So that's the verb, influences. And decision sticks for some time, and slave pops move between the two factions with dissatisfied slaves gravitating towards malcontent. Bunch of balance changes here. Pure happiness reduced from 60 to 50. That's okay, whatever. All pops now have a base war happiness of -10. I think this is going to be harder, but okay. Emergency FTL cooldown increased from 12 to 30 days. It never affected us, so. Habitability of planet classes 2 steps removed from your species. Primary type increased from 20 to 40%. Okay, so it's a little easier to colonize, but. Reduced chance of post-combat admiral events firing by a factor of 5. I guess it hadn't been too much. I don't know, we didn't have a lot of battles. Leaders no longer gain additional traits from leveling up if they already have 3. Oh, okay. I think we did have 1 4-trait guy. Newly spawned pops are now more likely to take their ethics from pops of the same species, which makes sense. The ruler savior modifier duration from the ransomers events has been reduced from 100 years to 5 years. The grand design modifier from void unclouded is no longer permanent. Oh, that's unfortunate, because that was kind of cool. Gives 10 happiness for 20 years. Propaganda edict can now be used by everyone. Fanatic collectivists were previously prevented. Okay. Mineral deficit effect increased from -33 to -50. Energy deficit increased from Jesus Christ. That's brutal. I hope they fix the way that they calculate energy credits then, because otherwise that's a problem. Counted-sighted event effect on happiness reduced from 15 to 10. Migration treaties no longer affect pop happiness. Xenophilia effect on happiness reduced by 75. Frontier outpost mineral cost increased and maintenance increased. Jesus. Okay, I thought they were too expensive to begin with, but whatever. Ethics in general. Fanatic versions are now 3 times as stronger than non-fanatic. Okay, makes sense. So that's what that's all about. We can talk about that when we get there. Apparently this says new. So there's diplomatic cost and rival influence cost. Okay, so that's cool. I dig all that stuff. Physics, society, engineering, output system. Traits. Non-adaptive trait points change from -1 to -2. Okay, that makes sense, because that's a fairly steep penalty for only -1. Very strong trait point cost reduced from 4 to 3. Probably also good. Weak trait also reduces mineral output by 5. That's rough. Venerable trait effect on lethal lifespan reduced from 120 to 90. Probably fair, especially given like when you combine it with some of the lizards. Youthful elite modifier reduced from 25 to 10. Yeah, it's basic balance stuff. Youthful people, natural beauty, of course, we already read about that. Components increase the engagement range of strike craft. That's what everything increased, and it looks like they've increased the accuracy to compensate for the greater distance as well. It probably all comes out in the wash. But that's all we're looking at there. And armor penetration is reduced as well. Slight increase in damage, again because of the distance, I'm sure, to make up for it. So I'm happy with all that stuff. Double the spawn rate of Garanthium ore, which I've never seen. Lyric gas, Ingos vapor, Tellar crystals, Betheran dust, which I've never seen. Beryllium wall, and Satramine gas. Okay, so those were apparently too rare, they felt. End-game crisis fleets are now significantly tougher, which we've never seen. And now occur later on average. Jesus. Alright, which I've never seen either. Extra-dimensional invaders will now reinforce more aggressively and have hull points triple. Okay, democratic governments have had their election terms increased to 10 years. That's probably good. That was a pretty quick election turnaround, to be honest with you. Military Republic, ship upkeep effect removed, war happiness effect removed, and they do station and army stuff instead. Same thing with the martial democracy and the junta. Ship upkeep reduced, so if the building is not changed, it's basically all the long-term effects. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, that's all good. That's all good. If you want to see more of that, of course, you can go to the patch notes. Technology, database uplink, space cost reduced from 900 to 240, improved database. Okay, so it's making, this is all the stuff that helps you research better, and the cost for that was all reduced, which makes sense. Alright, colony ship mineral cost now dependent on the components and is no longer static. That's probably wise. Private colony ship now costs 50% of the colony ship, but in energy, and interesting, I didn't even know that existed. So AI war stuff has all been redone. I don't know, war is on its own with nothing under it, and then AI. Bunch of AI stuff. I'm kind of glancing over it because I've got about 4 minutes now until the stream. Sectors build happiness buildings, or special buildings is good. They do spaceports, that's also smart. Fix the bug, replace game resource 6, store resource over the cap, that would kind of be fun. That's fine, and yep, that's fine. If you vote down they don't like it, that's fine. UI stuff, user modding stuff. You know what I find to be interesting here? Performance fixes, which are very, very good. Fix some bug fixes. Hopefully a lot of this, well, it's quite a bit. They never talk about the fact that Corvettes are still OP. It's crazy. I still don't see any reason not to just build Corvettes forever. Apparently they don't believe so. I think it's true. Yeah, this is all good stuff. Basically, they're letting us see more. Yeah, that's all very good. Yeah, very, very good. Yeah. Let's see if there's anything here about energy credits. No. 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 No, so I don't know. That's kind of an annoying bug. I might have to. Maybe they don't know. Maybe it's a rare thing. Maybe it's a Linux only thing, so they don't have enough reports on it. I'm not sure. But anyway, that is Stellaris 1.2 Asimov. I'm very excited about it. Hopefully you guys are too. It looks like it's balancing quite a number of things, although it still looks to be Corvette heavy. And I have no idea if it breaks the save yet or not. We'll find out. I would like to say before I close, because I'd be remiss for not saying so, that I am starting a Patreon page on Friday, July 1st. And there'll be a couple of different levels of things to look forward to. If it's already after July 1st, 2016, well, it's out there. Go check out Patreon. And if you have the means and you would like to, please do donate to help support the pond and everything that we do here. And if you can't, then that's okay too. Just watching the videos really does mean a lot. And the subscribers and everything, it means a lot that you're out there watching the videos. So I really appreciate that. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, click the like button. Consider subscribing to the channel to stay updated on everything as it happens. And until next time, cheers.